morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you may be. I hope you're staying safe, you're healthy and getting through the times we are right now. It's affecting us all, and therefore I thought I'd better make this video. This concerns what a lot of people are not understanding. Doesn't matter what you do in life, it's affecting us all. And as it says in the title, this is not just about Covid-19, this is also about how Brexit can affect a lot. So most people are going to understand the Covid part, but if you're not in the UK, you won't understand Brexit. If you're in the EU, you might, but not the same as us poor suckers who had some muppet, that must be Trump's brother, decide that we're definitely going to do Brexit and basically ruin the country. But there you go. What can we do? We're mere minions that have to accept it. So anyhow, to start with, I need to explain why things take time, get delayed, because people just don't understand it. And for me to write an email and try and explain something to someone, it's just not going to happen. I am the worst person at putting my words on paper. I can be romantic and kind of write a poem, but when it comes to being technical and doing something, I'm useless. So, I mean really useless. And my bloody rolly went out. Now, I need to keep my language clean, as I'm really a bad boy. So please excuse me if I skip. Basically, right now, I mean, the last week, it's been hell through really understanding how other companies, other people are going through it. And the reason why I've got a problem is I moved to this house for one reason, or rather a couple of reasons, but one of them was that this steel supplier, amazing company, they're close here, and I needed to be near to them to be able to continue doing development, working on my systems and trying to get somewhere. And I was very fortunate to find this house through a friend. Thank you, Valerie, so appreciated. But basically it boils down to I need to explain exactly what's going on in the world with companies and how things are, and people aren't getting it. So to start with, my biggest problem has been, and where I'm at a brick wall at the moment. Thank goodness I've managed to regain communications, because communications for people has been impossible as well. So anyhow, this part is to do with my steel. So I need a particular piece of steel, and you're going to have to bear with me on this, and this is going to be boring. This is partially technical, but I'm trying to explain what other companies are going through and what I'm going through. What causes delays is when I get 3 separate wrong deliveries of steel, because another company has been closed down due to COVID, and then when they reopen, they're stressed out and they make errors. They're using half their workforce. So, a simple explanation. Right now, I'm waiting on some steel that's same section as this, but a certain length. Now, this is the dimensions of the steel I need, and the reason I'm doing this so I can actually physically show people what's going on. I need steel that is basically 20mm by 20mm, and then it's got to have a wall length or wall thickness, wall thickness 1.5. Its profile is square. Okay, it's got very small rounded edges, but it's square. It's not rounded like this is. I'm trying to hold it so you can see it. See how much more rounded that is. So, I made orders months and months ago. I've had 3 wrong orders delivered. And because the different times that the government's closed factories down, and this particular factory also closed down because they had an outbreak of COVID, well, when they just reopened, you have to understand, we're looking at each time I get a wrong delivery, instead of it just being like being able to pick up the phone and talk to someone, there's no more communications. People aren't in the offices. It's through email, and email takes ages. You send an email, you get an email back, but you have to wait days and days, maybe even a week or so, to get an email. Then you get the first replacement parts, and they turn out to be with this measurement. This was my first set that came back. Now this has the same profile, brilliant, but it's only 19mm. It's only 19. Then the second set, and this is only from the 120s, I then had this with the 70mm. So this is 20, but the wall thickness is 2mm and it's got a rounded curve. They're all useless, and I need 2 lengths. I need a short one and a long one. So just on steel. And now I'm waiting to hear, because they thought they had it in stock. They don't know if they're going to order it from Germany. And it's the 3rd time they've had to replace the steel. And I didn't realise until last week. So now I am so many months behind. And I literally, it's so small you don't see it. And I've never had a problem before. It's boiled down to basically, where the company's been closed, they're working on half the workforce. So people that would not normally do the cutting are doing the cutting. They're making mistakes, and through all the stress that's going on with every company right now, errors are being made. It's now come down to the fact that I'm waiting for replacements. I've got everything else except for these 2 parts. I have made 4 whole systems, welded them together, painted them, went to assemble them, and they wouldn't go together because a part has to go inside here. And if this measurement's wrong, it won't fit inside. So now I've thrown away 4 systems, welded, painted, went to assemble, and useless. Because you can't visually see it, it's that minimal. I am doing my utmost to get this done as quickly as possible, but I am only a human being, and we are all human beings. The company that supplies me is one of the best and the only company I can go with. And right now there's also no choices. And the steel I need, the last time I ordered some myself, I had to buy it out of Germany because it's not made in the UK. It's certain dimension and that's it, boom, end of. People aren't getting this. I'm trying my best, but if I'm supplied the incorrect component, and it's not my fault, and because of the pandemic, communication times and replacement times take so long. It took me 3 months to get the first set replaced. 3 months. Because the people were closed for 2 months and then they had to catch up. They build Land Rover chassis. This is a major company. I'm a small fish. Doesn't make what I build less important, but you have to put things into reality and people don't understand it. And this is why I've had to make this video so people get it. It's like my 3D printer went down. It started to cause errors in my printing. I had to order a printer from China because it had to be the same make, because all my designs are for one particular printer. And when I got it, all the screws, bolts, everything were loose. And it took me a week to line it up, get it working so it functions, so I can 3D print my parts. And my parts are not, they're complicated. That's a gear, that's not a simple thing that you can just print. You know, it's not square. And then you have an MTE. These are not something that any printer just prints. These have to be perfect, absolutely. And that was a month delay. People don't get what's going on. So I got one guy out of Germany emailed me today. Because normally it's 8 to 12 weeks to build a system. He ordered basically 12 weeks ago. But 2 weeks later, my printer gave me trouble. I had to wait. And I've got steel problems. And now I've got to email him and let him know. But people do not understand. The pandemic has caused so much problems. And it's like with shipping. The Christmas period was astronomical, and shipping now is abysmal. Not because of the shippers, but because of the amount of people that are now shipping everything because they're buying everything online. And that's causing problems for everyone. And this is something that people should really think about. And yes, I'm drinking a Jack Daniels because I haven't had one in absolute weeks. And I had a food delivery today. I haven't left my house since March 2020. Everything gets delivered. And I haven't had a Jack Daniels in about a month. And I just got to a certain point with a certain system. So, and making this video is not a pleasure for me. You know, it's reprimanding in the fact that people think, well, no, delays, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's life right now. And you have to accept it. The problem is, there's no way around it. Basically, the guy that I work with does my steel. He doesn't even take phone calls anymore because he's so swamped with back orders, with the stress that's going on. He's lost family recently, and is also had COVID in the family. So I understand where it's at. You get to a point where you're so pressured that you can't take anymore. And that's why people need to understand, you may have purchased something, you may want something, but at the end of the day, you have to have the understanding there is a pandemic. Shipping everything is absolutely, it's chocker. They are over limited. They are past what they can do, and they